Howdy y'all, welcome back to another long-awaited video of Classic Garage. Today, I'm going to be showing you about carburetor adjustment. Ooh, scary. No, I'll be explaining it to you really simply in caveman terms so that everyone can understand. This is going to be a multi-part thing where I'll show you each big step and what to do. The very most important thing is to check for vacuum leaks. Pick up one of these. I got it at Harbor Freight. This vacuum pump you can use to check for vacuum leaks very accurately and easily. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, now before I get into this, I should mention this very specifically applies to all two-barrel Ford carburetors from the 70s. That would be the 2100 and the 2150. This probably still applies to just about any two-barrel carburetor there is. And it's really very simple. First, take off the air cleaner. Undo this nut here. Unplug everything that goes into it, and then if you have a later model, take off this here. The earlier cars don't have that. And once you get the air cleaner off, you'll see this thing that scares a lot of people. It's really very simple. You have a lot of vacuum lines going in and coming from this. The reason it's important to check for vacuum leaks: the engine operates on a precise mixture of fuel and air. If you have vacuum leaks, you're introducing more air to that ratio. The symptoms of vacuum leaks are if the car runs and it has vacuum leaks, it'll be very shaky. You'll see the engine shake quite a bit at idle. That's a pretty good sign that you have a vacuum leak or your mixture isn't correct. So this right here, you don't have to check this. This isn't a vacuum line, but all the other rubber hoses you should check, except the one that should be plugged in right here. That one just goes to atmosphere. It's not a vacuum hose. There should be one that comes directly out of the side here. Right here on mine. You check that. There's one in the front that should be connected to the distributor. You check that. There should be a T somewhere up here on the firewall with a bunch of lines coming out of it. Check every one of those. And that should be, for the most part, cover about all the vacuum lines. Let me show you, for example, one of mine. Okay, I can't show you just because I'm holding the camera, but before you test vacuum lines, you want to test your pump here. Put a finger over the end of it and pump at the same time while holding your finger. Then quit pumping and see if it stays pumped up. Yeah, I don't think I can do it, but it should stay wherever it is. If it bleeds down, then you're going to want a new tester, or you're going to want to figure out where it's leaking air from. Once you know that your vacuum pump is good, plug it into one of your vacuum lines. Okay, you can see here, I've taken the vacuum line off the side of the carburetor and I plugged it into here. One thing to know: when you take old vacuum lines off, if they haven't been moved for a long time, they don't just pull right off. The best way is to twist them. If you have any plastic junctions like this right here, be really careful about those. because they will snap right off. You're better off finding another spot to get your hose from. But this one went into the carburetor, so I just unplugged it. Now you pump up your pump here, and you can see how fast it bleeds down. We have a vacuum leak. Now this will introduce too much air and the engine won't run correctly. You can compensate for a vacuum leak to an extent, but you're better off not having them at all. What you need to do is, this line has many vacuum lines plugged into it at that T, if it'll focus. What I need to do now is take off each line from that and figure out which line has the vacuum leak. And I need to trace it back to whatever is leaking vacuum. Then, if you can live without whatever that is, just unplug it and cork it off. If you can't, either find a replacement part or compensate for it. It's best off to have no vacuum leaks, but you want to check everything, all the vacuum lines and where they go. I know that on this car there's a vacuum leak here. The distributor leaks vacuum slowly. There's another one on the firewall somewhere, so I have at least 3 different vacuum leaks. They're all slow though, and what I mean by that is it doesn't bleed down immediately. So that's the first step. Once you have that done, I will be making another video about the next step. Now, it's very important that you do this one before you move on to that one. Otherwise, you won't have your car running as well as it could. I'll see you guys next time. And remember, by subscribing, you're helping me to keep your cars and this beautiful Lincoln on the road. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.